Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, the Devil's Advocate, always priding myself, nay, pushing myself to take on the side of most resistance. And today's episode, spoiler warning, it's gonna anger a few people. Quite a few people, actually. See, there's this idea that permeates throughout all form of media that somehow knowing what's coming up ahead of time is gonna ruin the experience for somebody. If you know the big twist in the second act, or you know how things are gonna end, suddenly the entire work in question is ruined forever. And whoever spoiled it for you is the single worst person on planet Earth. But here's the thing. Spoilers aren't that bad. In fact, I'm willing to go on record that I prefer getting spoiled over finding some things out on my own. From a personal standpoint, people getting all bent out of shape just because they found out about being realistic, say about a 30-second happening in the last third of a 2-hour movie, is relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And I'm going to use 3 very specific examples of what could potentially be a huge spoiler. Here we see one of the most iconic moments in gaming history. Aeris, a key party member and major plot device in Final Fantasy VII, gets stabbed through the heart by the main antagonist, Sephiroth. She dies forever. No Phoenix Down can save her, no visit to the inn will wake her from her eternal slumber, no mage casting a powerful life spell will make her rejoin your band of heroes. Now, some people would get upset that I'm sharing such a major plot point in this game. But here's the thing. I knew this would happen right out of the gate. In a 40-plus hour game, my own file being about 90 thanks to Chocobo breeding and the Gold Saucer minigames, oh, how I love me some crazy motorcycle. You naturally want to plan out your team and strategies as far in advance as possible to streamline the experience a little bit and be as overpowered as you could be. And this spoiler helped me avoid using her at all. Best healer in the game? Well, that doesn't matter. I just leveled up a bunch of healing materia and put it on my actual band of heroes. Plus, in those that happen to have souls, of which I'm gladly lacking, her death brought some serious gravity. It gave the group a reason to keep fighting. Avenge the death of a fallen comrade. Next up is from one of my favorite games of all time, Silent Hill 2. I've played this game twice a year, almost every year since my first time. And you know what they say? You never forget your first.
I'm your first? Don't worry, I promise not to be gentle.
Even if it's panicky, causes you to sweat, maybe give you some emotional issues that you'll never get over. Just like a good horror game should. We see now the main character, James. After traveling through the haunted titular town, running into a bunch of cucumber crazy characters, including but not limited to his wife's doppelganger, smothering his wife with a pillow. The same wife he believes to still be alive. See, that's the thing about spoilers. You don't fully understand the scope of the thing being spoiled without getting more information in the first place. Silent Hill is already a game worthy of multiple playthroughs, seeing as the soundtrack and story are all top-notch. But it's all the little reveals and secrets that only show up after knowing what's going on the first time around that make it a truly memorable experience. On top of that, I've been playing this game for going on a decade now, and there's still things that are open to interpretation. Getting one piece of the puzzle doesn't do much in the grand scheme of things, seeing as the puzzle in question might change over time. That's right. This game will actually have a different ending based on how you play and what you do and interact with over the course of the game. James killing his wife is constant. It's how he, and by proxy you, the player, reacts to those things that dictates the true heart of the story. Speaking of reactions...
Please. Avada Kedavra.
How gut-wrenching was that? Albus Dumbledore, resident grandfather figure of the main man with a lack of a plan, Harry Potter, deaded by the adult that Harry hates almost as much as he who must not be named. Immediate reactions were all across the board. How dare he? How dare she? By she, I mean the author, for killing such an amazing character in the first place. What are the students in Hogwarts going to do without their one constant protector? Here's a fun fact. I'm a Harry Potter fan, but I almost didn't finish reading all the books, and I still haven't watched all the movies. The books got long, and I started running out of free time, which is what happens in life. However, a friend of mine who would later become a roommate had spoiled what happened in Book 6. I loved the idea of killing off a main character. It's probably why I'm such a fan of these guys. Hearing what Snape did to Professor Dumbledore actually made me want to continue reading the series. Not just because of what happened, I wanted to know how. I wanted to see the build-up to that moment, the foreshadowing. After reading it, I reread the entire series over again just to see all the little hints and clues that may have been there. If it wasn't spoiled for me outright, yeah, I would have read them eventually. They're a great set of books. But getting that spoiler inspired me to get to it faster and made me more invested in what was going on. Maybe it's the writer in me that thinks this way. I never thought that any one moment in anything matters without the connection it makes to the rest of the story as a whole. Eris dying without context is just another death in a video game. James killing his wife is just a murder committed by a vile character. Or not, depending on how you play. Maybe it's not even the end. Professor Snape? Great double agent? Or repugnant toe rag? This is a question that still rages on to this day. The spoilers themselves are just moments, scenes within a larger narrative. Without the rest of the work in question, that moment has no context, no meaning, and thus, no reason. As always, feel free to continue this discussion down in the comments below, and be sure to state your case in all of its glory, so that I may proceed to prove you wrong.
Boom! Lawyered.
As it stands, on the topic of spoilers, the defense rests. Right, I was supposed to actively anger you. Darth Tantrum kills his father in episode 7. Single-handedly. Get it? Get it?